It's the goose up life for me. It's the goose up life for me. Screw you, Mr. Gardener dude. I'm going to steal your food. It's the goose up life. Right, well, let me just start this all off by saying I know I can't sing, and that's not the point of why we're here right now. We are here to talk about the Untitled Goose game. Now, with a title like that, it is kind of titled, and they're sort of messed up in that regard. But that's fine, that's fine, it's still the Untitled Goose game, that's what it's called, and that's what we're going to be calling it. So, with the Untitled Goose game, this game is an interesting one. It's a nice new concept to the sort of stealth style games with a really cool looking art style, and I can definitely see why it is skyrocketed to the top of the Switch download list. It is a amusing little game. So what exactly is this game about? Well, you're a goose and you're a bit of a dick. But, you know, you're a goose nonetheless. And this does ring true about most geese that I've ever had to deal with. They are all, you know, a bit of a dick. And this really does portray that really, really well. So you start off just popping out of a bush. This can be presumed to be your home. And then you go through a little pathway that shows you the basic controls of how to maneuver around the world. You can run around, you can flap your wings, and you can duck under things. And, as geese do the best, you can honk at things. But the main thing that you're going to be finding yourself doing throughout this entire game is picking stuff up, moving it around, and just generally confusing the population as to what in the hell you're doing. So you may be thinking to yourself, what exactly is the main premise of this game? And you get a little list. You get a nice, neat little list as to what you're actually supposed to be doing. You have a to-do list, if you will. And these range from a few different things, like getting someone to do a certain type of thing, or finding a certain type of item and taking it to a certain place. For example, at the start of the game, the first thing you have to do is try and get into the garden, and this is primarily a puzzle game, and it really does feel that way. You are not held by your hand throughout this entire thing at all. They basically tell you, you do this, and you have to figure out how to do it. There is probably thousands of different ways to do each and every single different thing on the list, but I mean, like, I sort of figured out one way of doing it and I stuck with that. But I mean, like, it's good fun. It's a nice little challenge to be able to try and think for yourself, as opposed to, you need to go get this from the gardener. How do I do that? Well, my friend, let me tell you exactly how you can do this. No, they do not hold your hand at all, and I love the idea of that. It gives you a really, really good sense of, I did it, when you figure out how to actually do something. And luckily enough with these lists as well, you don't have to complete everything. You do have to complete everything but one before you can move on to the next stage. And in order to move on to the next stage, you do need to actually trick someone into doing something to unlock the next area. It's all moves into itself quite seamlessly, and I think that's amazing. It is a short game. I mean, like, I probably completed it within a couple of hours, but at the end of it, I was pleasantly surprised that there is a lot more to do. You get another to-do list that has a whole bunch of new items that you have to do, even a sort of speedrun challenge type idea, where you have to complete a whole bunch of tasks before a bell rings. And the good thing about it is there is actually a reset feature, and that will reset the entire stage for you, except for all the things that you've already done. So if you mess up something, say you put something in the wrong spot and now you can't unfix that, you can just reset the level, but it doesn't take away any of the achievements that you've already made. This allows you to really experiment with everything that you want to do in this game. Find different ways of tricking people into moving into certain areas, trying to figure out different ways of solving all of these puzzles. It's a great little game for experimentation, and that just makes it so much more fun. And for all you completionists out there, the last challenge is to do everything on the lists, and I mean everything. That can become quite challenging, I would have to say. There's certain things in it I looked at and I thought to myself, oh crap, I have no idea how I'm going to get this done. But let's be honest, it is a great little challenging game, and it has all the charm in the world. And not gonna lie, as weird as this may sound, it made me feel quite empowering. There's this one stage where you have to try and get this kid to hide in a phone box, and it's really amusing. Running around honking at him as he runs off scared, flapping your wings around like a mad goose. And there was definitely moments which made me feel like I was a powerful goose and I am going to take you out. Standing in front of people with my wings out like, come at me bro, what are you gonna do about it? I'm a bloody goose. And when people do see you, it is a bit of a sketched out moment. You run away, but at the same time they are slightly faster than you because they are about 3 times the height of you. So for every one of their strides, you gotta slap your little geese feet about 10 times. But there was a moment when at the first stages, I'd have to steal something from the gardener. I would jump into the water and he would sort of be like, oh no, I don't want to go in there. I'm like, haha, take that. I'm a bloody goose and I float on water. What are you gonna do about it now? So if you've ever wondered to yourself, I really wonder what it's like to be a goose. Well, boy do I have the game for you. There's some nice sneaking elements to it as well. You can duck down, duck under things like tables and benches to try and avoid people. Sort of honk at one area, run around another area so you can get past them. It's got some nice little stealth elements to it as well. I must admit, I absolutely love this sort of art style. It's very simple, but it knows what it is. None of the people have faces, but you know exactly what they're thinking. You've got exclamation marks that pop above their head when they see you. You've got question marks when they're wondering what the hell's going on, and the little images over their heads when they're thinking about what they need to go get next, which really adds to the planning out as to what you're going to do with this. Now, I'm not going to spoil the end of the game at all, but it does have a nice bit of a satisfying ending that made me feel, yeah, this is what a goose would actually do. I don't know if the developers went out and spent some time with some geese to really understand what a goose does, but it does make me feel like this is a game about a goose. This is what a goose would do. This is how a goose would feel. This is how a goose would walk around. A little feature I did find with this game as well that was quite nice was the fact that you could zoom in and out. I don't understand why you needed to zoom in. I never actually used that feature throughout the entire game, but zooming out does give you that sort of perspective feel that you need. But the only drawback I really found from it was the fact that it tried to lock on to what it thought you were trying to look at, and that did not give me any help at all. It would sometimes zoom in and out, in and out, in and out, and that just really disorientated me a lot. And you have absolutely no control over which sort of direction the camera can go in. I mean, like, I know it's supposed to be the goose's peripheral vision and actually what they could potentially see from around them, but I can't move the camera at all. It's whatever it locks onto, it's locked onto, and I can't adjust that in the slightest bit. Having the flexibility to actually move the camera just around in a circle from the goose would have been really nice, so that way you can actually, you know, figure out better strategies as to how to get around these things, as opposed to this is what you should be looking at right now. I mean, like, this is how you should be looking. And another thing to note as well is that when you are running around, and I mean sprinting as much as a goose can sprint, the controls as to how sharp you turn are cut down quite a lot. So if you're trying to make a narrow escape through a doorway, you better stop running for a second so you can adjust yourself. The game does let you know this as well, so if you are trying to make a sharp turn, it's going to say, hey, slow down a little bit. But I think this game is absolutely amazing for the Switch. It is the perfect type of game to go on the Switch. One of those games that you can just sort of pick up for about 10-20 minutes while you're waiting for a bus or a cab or your mum, I don't know, and then you can just put it down again. Pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. It's perfect for the Switch. And the nice little surprise at the end where you actually have a lot more that you can do in this game does bring it to a nice sort of length of gameplay. Not the kind of game that I would play for long periods of time, but it's definitely a nice sort of in-between game, I would say. All in all, I would say that this is definitely worth having a look at. It's a nice little charming game that you can pick up and play whenever you feel the need to. Art style is nice, the music behind it is beautiful with just a symphony of pianos, and the gameplay is not half bad at all. Right, and with that I am going to say thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know, have you played this game? Did you enjoy it at all? And until next time, thank you very much for watching.